Let's look at pH. Recall, pH is the concentration of the hydrogen ions in a solution. A neutral pH is 7. Anything below 7 is considered an acid. The lower the pH, the stronger the acid. Anything above 7 is considered an alkaline or a base. The higher the pH, the stronger the alkaline. An acid, by definition, is a chemical when placed in water releases hydrogen ions. A base, on the other hand, is a chemical when placed in water binds with or removes hydrogen ions from the solution. The pH of blood is between 7.35 in veins to 7.45 in arteries. Veins have a lower pH due to the fact that they have increased levels of carbon dioxide. Why is maintaining blood pH important? Recall that proteins are very sensitive to their chemical environments. Changing the pH around a protein outside of its range will change the shape of the protein. Recall that proteins have binding sites for substrates. The shape of the protein is critical to allow for the substrate to bind. If you change the shape of the protein, this will then change the function of the protein. Changing the shape and thus the function is denaturation. If an acid is a chemical that releases hydrogen ions when placed in water, a strong acid is one that gives up most of its hydrogen ions. In other words, releases most of its hydrogen ions. A strong base, on the other hand, is one that binds with most of the hydrogen ions. This reaction should look familiar to you. Recall that carbon dioxide produced by aerobic cellular respiration reacts with water to produce a weak acid called carbonic acid. Carbonic acid then in turn dissociates or breaks apart into bicarbonate ions and hydrogen ions. The hydrogen on the carbonic acid is given off in the form of a hydrogen ion. Therefore, carbonic acid is an acid since it's releasing the hydrogen ions. If we take the equation and move it in the opposite direction, where bicarbonate ions react with hydrogen to produce carbonic acid, the bicarbonate ion becomes a weak base. It is a weak base because it is binding with the hydrogen ions, removing them from the solution. Alkalosis is when the pH in your blood is above 7.45. Alkalosis can be caused by vomiting. Hyperventilation can also bring about alkalosis. Acidosis may result from metabolic processes as well as decreased buffer systems. A pH of above 7.8 or below 7.0 or 6.8 is fatal due to the denaturation of your proteins. Metabolic acids are acids that are formed during your metabolism. Examples are lactic acid, keto acids, and fatty acids. In order to maintain homeostasis with your pH, the amount of hydrogen ions that you bring into your body must equal the amount that is lost. If we look at this figure, we'll see that we gain hydrogen ions from our diet as well as from our metabolism. We lose hydrogen ions from the body through our urine. In this module, we'll look at how the kidneys help regulate your blood pH. But we also can regulate blood pH through our ventilation by expiring carbon dioxide. We studied this earlier this semester. The lungs are involved in short-term regulation of pH, whereas the kidneys are involved in long-term regulation of pH. The equation down at the bottom shows you the reaction moving to the left. Recall that if you decrease the amount of carbon dioxide by expiring it, it moves the equation to the left, and this helps get rid of the hydrogen ions by binding them to the bicarbonate ions, forming carbonic acid, which can then be converted back into carbon dioxide. This can be expired from the body.